Some Say with Tom and Nickie. Nickie is unfortunately unavailable, but I do have about an hour with JT Tepnapa and Carlos Pedraza. I did that right. Welcome to the program, guys. I'm really happy to have you here. We to talk about your latest movie that you're in the process of getting started, something like Summer. And why don't you plug it a little bit, and if you could, and we'll do some questions and ask Some Say tweets at MyLibs Live hashtag as well, if you guys are okay with that.
Sure. First of all, Thomas, thank you so much for having us on. It's been such a long time. I'm JT Tepnapa, so that's my voice. I'm the director of Something Like Summer, and I have Carlos with me.
And I'm Carlos Pedraza. I'm the writer and the producer.
Thank you. And so awesome. Now, if you go to the somethinglikeSummer.com webpage, it directs you directly to the Indiegogo campaign.
Oh, yes.
And
yes, it does. We want to make it as easy as possible for you to learn about the project and become a part of it.
And it really is. And I love the video you guys are putting out. I wish I could be that good in my editing and everything.
We have a lot of fun making it. And don't be fooled. There is a lot of editing going on.
Oh, yeah, because he doesn't look that good in real life.
No, I have...
No, he does. I've met you. I can attest.
So
no. You're not going to crack any mirrors. But no, I've known you guys since the Hidden Frontier days.
Right, we go way back.
And the first Excelsior Ball.
Right.
Yes. Remember, I will not sing. I swear I will not sing. But let's talk about your latest project. What I want to know, and anybody who wants to ask Some Say hashtag questions, just direct them directly to me so I can keep track of them, so I can ask Carlos and JT, and we'll go from there for the hour. And then maybe we'll take a call or two close to the end. Maybe. If you guys are good with your questions.
Oh, the hell with you, Thomas. Call in now.
And see, you guys have obviously listened to the show. All right, so
really, I'm tired of talking to JT, so
What? Oh, you're going to have to do a lot of talking. We're talking after this.
I'm in trouble. It's comedy.
Yeah, fair enough. Now, JT, what is the picking process when you go to pick a movie? You got two under your belt.
That's a really good question.
Under your belt.
We were actually touching upon this subject yesterday. When I pick a project, I have to really be in love with it. I can't do a project just for the money. I have to do a project because somehow it speaks to me. It tells me something that I want to know, and I want to share the story. I mean, Something Like Summer is a novel based on J. Bell's literary award-winning novel of the same name, Something Like Summer. And it's about these two young lovers through the course of 12 years.
Which presented no small casting challenge, let me tell you.
Fair enough, I can understand that.
And when I read it, I just thought about my own journey, my high school experiences, my college experiences, and then now my life with my husband Adam.
And when I started reading it, I was like, oh my God, JT, this is like your life.
It was emotional. I really liked it, and it really spoke to me. And
I first thought, because the first part of it takes place, part one is all high school, and I was like, it's a sweet story, but we've people have told this story before. And then all of a sudden it was part two, and it jumps ahead, and then I was hooked, and I was like, this is not your regular sort of high school, falling in love, coming out story. This is...
It's not. It's actually the novelist J. Bell, like in his forward, he wrote, "This is not a coming out story," and it's not. It's something else. It's about growing up. It's about maturing. It's about pursuing your dreams.
So awesome, and whether you're gay or straight or basically any audience can relate to this.
Oh, actually, a lot of women.
Yeah, we have the book has a lot of female fans. Way more than and male romance apparently is quite a thing with female audiences. I think because it sort of fulfills this fantasy notion of men who are actually romantic, which
very true.
I was very romantic today with my husband. By the way,
okay,
I wrestled him for a burrito.
Too much information.
Hey, like I told you before you guys came on, as long as it's true. And now, are you going to be true? Now, JT, are you going to be truthful with me? Are you going to tell me who won? Honestly,
who won the burrito?
Yeah, who won
the burrito? We split the burrito.
Okay, so I can go with that. I could go with that. Very liberal outcome.
It's all about compromise, Tom.
Anyone out there that wants what's the key to a long-term relationship?
Burritos.
No.
Damn it! This is why I'm not in one.
Compromise.
Welcome to my world, Carl.
Short memory.
Yeah, sure. So, Alzheimer's can be a good thing in a relationship.
Absolutely. The Notebook, gorgeous. I love that movie.
Oh my god.
See, I love movies like this. This is why I like something like Summer. I just love these romantic movies, and they can be also real. I mean, in real life. I mean, that's where these movies come from. It comes from people's inspirations.
And what works for me really was all of sort of the deep, dark angst that the different characters have and how they reflect off of one another's sort of personal stories. And so between his like over-the-top romanticalness and my under-the-top darkness, it sort of merges into what we think is going to be the perfect combination for...
And that actually leads in my next question, Carlos. And I'm talking with Carlos Pedraza and JT Tepnapa. They're working on Something Like Summer. You're listening to Some Say with Tom and Nickie. And I'm just here today because Nickie has to deal with some family issues. But leads me to my next question. A lot of books start as movies. Or start as books and then go to movies, rather. And they don't turn... You get a lot of complaints. Oh, how close to the book are you going to... how... Without giving it away...
I'm going to have Carlos really do the bulk of this answer, but I want to start off by saying that that's not necessarily true. I mean, there are movies where people say that, but then there are movies that are adapted from books, and the movies take a life of their own and become. I mean, dare I compare? Harry Potter, is a wonderful series, absolutely wonderful, but so are the movies. And so what it means is you take great care to speak to the heart of the story, and you create it in moving pictures. Mm-hmm. They're really two different mediums.
It's being true to these characters and their journey, and making sure that they start out in the same place as the book, and they end up in a place that touches people the same way that it did the book's readers. The in-between parts can and sometimes should be very different when you move from a written medium to a visual medium, and there are certain things that will be different. But we think that they're different because movies offer us some opportunities that you don't get on the written page.
They actually have to be different because there's an act structure and there's the perfect movie structure that you have to follow with movies, and novels they have a different set of rules.
Mm-hmm. And if you
okay. So what are some of those rules, and can you is it okay, and Carlos maybe as a writer and JT as a director you can help me out with this and the audience.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Sorry about Skype and technology. Sometimes we cut each other off. when you guys have the rules, can you sometimes kind of like play a little fast and loose in them to make a better story, or for a filmmaker, or does that where it falls apart?
Well, here's a really good example, and it's not really spoilers, but it's an excellent example of what we're talking about. In the book, the main character Ben is a singer. Well, obviously in a book, you can't hear him sing, you can't see him sing. Movies offer you the opportunity to really bring that to life and to have that music recur throughout the story in a way that tells you more about the character, that breathes a unique kind of life into the story that a book just can't give you. Also, the second character, the second lead, Tim Wyman, in the book is a painter. He's an artist, and you can't show that art in words either. I mean, there's some description of it, but you can't actually see it and be moved by the use of light and color and the things that makes art so sort of urgent and compelling to viewers. In a movie, you can do that, and in the way that you cast and create a film, you can use those two aspects, the music and the art, to flesh out things in an adaptation that a book just can't match. And so in Austin McKenzie, our lead actor who's playing Ben, we found this amazing, fresh new talent. This is his first feature film. He garnered amazing reviews here in Los Angeles for the Deaf West Theater version of Spring Awakening, which was amazingly powerful. JT and I saw it immediately after, like a few days after we offered him the role, and we're just blown away by it. But here's this great new talent who can sing and who's just has this soulful voice, and he looks this part so much, and is a great actor. That is just he's gonna bring the character of Ben to life in a way that only a movie can do that. Similarly, for Tim's artwork, we found this amazing young artist who's up in the Bay Area, originally from from St. Louis. His name is Kyle Johnson, and he's a brilliant artist and is also our production designer, kind of a twofer there for us. And his paintings will be standing in for the work of Tim Wyman's. And so you'll be able to get the benefit of sort of seeing into the mind and the soul of this character through these paintings. And so it offers ways for us to kind of give windows into the souls of these characters that only a movie can offer.
Now, here's you gave me a couple new questions in your answers. Dealing with new actors, some actors may be really great on stage, but may fall short on, in film, and some don't. How do you make sure that you're able to know that this is the one, and it's just not a gut pulling you? What do you do behind the scenes to make sure that the audience feels exactly what you feel as you're trying to present that to them? JT?
Well, first of all, I will say this. Between a theater actor and a film actor, I don't think there's much of a difference at all in their capabilities. It's really what they need to do. I mean, when you're in theater, obviously you need to project and project to the back of the house. And you don't need to do that on film. You keep everything in, because no matter what you do, no matter how subtle you are, the camera's going to pick it up, because it's like a foot away from you. So what I do is I work with the actors beforehand, and I get a sense of what they can do. And the good actors, the great actors, can do both, because they understand the medium, they understand the adjustments that they need to do, and if they don't, it's easily teachable.
Awesome. And because, I mean, I'll be honest, I'm a little naive. I've been on the set with you guys for Star Trek Hidden Frontier when you guys were filming way back when in our TARDIS time machine. So I'm not I'm not quite down with everything. And that's why I like having you here, so you guys can educate my naivete. And I have JT Tepnapa and Carlos Pedraza with me talking about the film Something Like Summer that they're doing an Indiegogo campaign for right now. And from everything you're telling me, it looks like this is going to be as good as Judas Kiss. And I really hope that, in fact, I feel kind of bad, and this is a little guilty moment. I didn't know you guys had made a second movie until I saw the Indiegogo campaign, so now I have to go find that one. So there's my secret confession for the show today.
Well, you don't have to be ashamed because it literally just came out a few days ago. So,
okay, all right, I don't feel so bad now.
So your timing is really quite perfect. And the movie Thomas is talking about is The Dark Place. It's our second film that we produced. Our colleague Jody Wheeler was the director of it and the writer. We filmed that up in Portland last year, and it's a mystery thriller set on a wine estate, and it's a pretty fun movie.
It's a really fun ride. So I suggest anyone out there listening and they haven't seen it yet, you can get it on iTunes and DVD.
Yeah,
that might be a Christmas present. That might be an awesome Christmas or a holiday present for the holidays.
You can check it out. All the different places you can buy are on the website for the movie, which is thedarkplacemovie.com, and just hit the buy button, and that'll take you to the page with all the different options that are open.
Awesome. Now, what is when you? Let me frame this right. When you are choosing actors for your movies, do you go, especially from a book, do you have this image in your mind because of the book, how you want them to be, or do you say, no, I'm going to scrap that, I'm going to go with what I want as a director or as a writer?
Well,
and how do you pair those?
It's important to understand that the short answer to your question is yes, but the longer answer is that the picture in my mind is sometimes very different from the picture in JT's mind.
Right. I mean, I certainly have a picture in my mind, but I will say this: the picture in my mind, I don't. For me, when I read something, I don't necessarily go out and pick a celebrity or a model and put it in and put that as my picture of a character. I have this nebulous idea of who that is, and really when I personally look and cast for something like Summer, when I'm looking at that person, it's, does this person match the heart of what I was thinking? Does this person match the look of what I'm thinking? And I really go for that.
For me, I tend to keep it very nebulous for as long as possible, because the way the casting process works, kind of classically, although we kind of used a different process for each one of these four lead characters just because of the way that it worked out. But we usually we put out an announcement through the professional services that are out there that agents see that have breakdowns of characters and describe who they, what they're like and what they look like and their age and race and all that sort of stuff. And then they start submitting people. And so we start looking at those submissions. It's usually headshots, but we have access if they have a reel, if they have a resume, and we start looking at those. And I tend to cast my net broadly, like if they have any kind of a possible similarity to the nebulous picture in my head, then I sort of mark them as, we'll come back and look at this, and then I'll send it to JT. He will go, what are you thinking?
How many arguments over burritos do you guys have to have before you get an act?
I am very picky. But Carlos and our casting director, Patty Callis, who is up in Seattle, they work together to create this huge list, and then they bring me a smaller list, and then I look at that, and then I narrow it down even more.
Yeah, and so the ones that we actually ended up looking at audition tapes for it was several hundred, actually. And we started out looking at probably well over 1,200 actors for these roles, and we looked at audition tapes for several hundred, and then narrowed that down to I don't know, a
75.
dozen,
Oh, depending on the
dozen.
role. Yeah, a few dozen depending on the role.
And then that's how many we actually then did auditions with, either live in Los Angeles or with several.
And
Skype.
keep in mind, these are actually callbacks.
Yeah,
Okay.
those were. Yeah.
Okay, now a little broader question. JT, you've been directing lots lately with hopefully three movies. And by the way, I do want to point out, your Indiegogo campaign ends on the eve of my daughter's birthday, which is December 15th. So I hope that will give you a good luck charm. I just wanted to.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. Yes, we're actually going to be doing a 24-hour live stream marathon of the last day. Just
Actually, you inspired us.
You did, Thomas. So we're going to use this same cool microphone to do our 24 hours. We're going to have a bunch of people
awesome.
on. You should call in.
Hey, I'd love to. You know what? In fact, if you know what, it's what's the day on that? The 4th.
That's going to start on Saturday night at midnight and go until Sunday night at midnight.
Okay, well, I'll get. Yeah, you know what? Sunday night at midnight. That's not a problem because Sunday we do a show. Sundays at 6. So maybe we could collaborate there. We'll talk. We'll talk after.
Yeah, we'll talk after
and see if we could collaborate further. But JT, you've been an actor before. Do you prefer directing or acting, or where do you find yourself suited best?
I think okay, that's a two-pronged question.
I knew. I'm just waiting.
Playing to the vanity.
Can I? Because
this is a very tricky.
my God.
This is so tricky. Let me tell you this.
This should be such a simple answer.
No, it's never a simple answer.
Oh, it is a simple answer. I can answer this for you.
Shut up. It's my turn. Okay. I love you. So
I see many burrito fights. I really do.
Here's the answer. I am a better director than I am an actor. I love directing. I love crafting a performance. I love working with really talented actors, and the more talent they are, the more exciting it is for me, because not only directing them, but watching movies and seeing them become this character it really excites me. That being said,
he keeps trying to write himself into every movie.
I was going to see, Carlos. That was going to be my next question. So thank you for stealing my thunder, Carlos.
No, I love acting. So much so that I took an acting class. Again.
Finally.
Again, I have a degree.
He has a degree.
Yeah, fair enough. No, because that's important too, and to drum up on your skills and everything else. Though I've always loved your performances that I've seen, and you always stole it.
You're the one.
Yeah, I'm the one.
Fan. He's your fan.
Oh, God, thank you. No, so seriously, I think I'm the kind of actor that, left to my own defenses, I'm pretty terrible.
He's not terrible.
I need a really strong director.
He's a great director, and that's where I've always felt like when he focuses on that, he does really great. And a lot of actor directors make this mistake where they think, oh, I need to be in my own movie. And the thing is it splits your focus, and when he does focus, he's amazing. And so,
it's true. I mean,
for every role, like barista role or bus driver role, he tries to write into.
He cuts it.
I cut the damn thing.
Smart man, Carlos. Smart man.
Right.
Because
I'm going to give that Indiegogo level at 5,000, and then you'll have to let me be in it.
That would be awesome.
There you go.
I know you don't have $5,000.
Yeah,
so ain't gonna happen. I win.
Oh, anybody out there that would like to donate $5,000 to have JT Tepnapa in the film?
Oh my God,
Carlos Pedraza, can't say no. So that's out.
There
right
you go.
now.
That could be the
I will
personal
make
bird.
this commitment. If you do that, I will let him be in the movie for one scene.
For one scene.
One scene.
One scene.
And that's it. But it's going to take $5,000.
Yeah, well, hey.
So anybody out there that
No one's going to do that.
I love breaking news on the show.
Of you, if you do.
See, even the dog thinks that's a terrible idea, except for the $5,000. No, it's a great idea. Do it. Do it now.
Yes. Yes, please.
Yeah, like every
Support
time.
my acting career.
Yeah, your acting career. There you go. Sorry about that. I had to let the dogs out. Apparently, somebody didn't know I was doing a show at 3:00.
That's okay.
But luckily, I don't think it went over air too much. But no, because that's important to know where your focus is and know what you're good at.
Seriously, I've been thinking about this movie for a very long time, and I have a lot of great ideas that I'm excited that we can execute now.
Yeah, we've been. This movie's been in development. Really, we started talking to. The producer who brought us on board onto the project while Judas Kiss was still running in film festivals back in 2011. So
wow! So this has been a while.
So producer Tom Lee from Jade Knight Productions up in Seattle is the one who approached JT first, and we arranged a meeting while we were up in Seattle for a film festival screening of Judas Kiss up there, and that's when we first sat down and started talking about possibly working together to bring this story to life. And he actually interviewed a number of producers and directors to bring this story to the screen, and they chose us.
Some pretty big names, some people that I'm kind of honored to be a part of the group. So
well, no, again, that shows your talent. I mean, if anybody who hasn't seen Judas Kiss, it's on Netflix. I highly recommend it. I didn't rewatch it again only because I didn't want to get all mushy and be like that fanboy and do that to you guys. So that's the only reason why I stopped myself from watching it again. But I know, like Carissa, who is on my Facebook, she was like, I just watched it before the show, and it's like, it made me laugh, it made me cry. I want to see this movie you guys are making. So now
interestingly, while we were making it, we also laughed and cried. So.
It's
with
true.
A lot of crying.
Hey, I just want to do a shout out out there to Jeffrey Torque. I know you're listening right now, and I just want to say thank you to you for being such a good friend.
Jeffrey's been a great supporter of all our work. He's in the Netherlands, and he's brought a lot of attention from the Netherlands and Belgium are like two of our top 10 countries on Indiegogo, and a lot of that is because of Jeffrey. So thank you, Jeffrey.
Jeffrey was also saying that you should give it $5,000 to let JT.
Oh my God! Okay, Jeffrey, for that, the only part I approve of is the $5,000. Like I said, I'm willing to sell my
Carlos, you could have him say one word.
Oh no, I don't even want a line.
Oh, you don't even want one? You could. Is there a cashier's spot somewhere you could put him?
He wanted to be a barista, and no.
Or a bus driver. All right, we should. Okay.
Let's focus a little bit. Occasionally, that's what this show does. But no, we have a lot of I am friends of the Young Turks. I don't know if you guys know them in LA, and the Young Turks Network, and I've been on TYT Community, and I have a lot of international listeners from that, so I totally hear you on the international listeners stuff. In fact, I was doing an 8:30 show, and I lost some of my international listeners, and I brought it back down to 3:30 so we could have them back. Or 3 o'clock rather. So it's one big happy family most of the time, unless it's over a burrito. But because we are a little bit of a political show here, when you are making partially LGBT themed movie or an independent movie, is there like any stigma, or is it harder to do, or has it been made easier to do in today's environment, and or from where you were when you made Judas Kiss to now?
Well, that's a really good question, and a complex one, because there's a lot of things that have changed for the better in the years since we started working together. You know, we worked together on a Star Trek web series, Hidden Frontier, and then Star Trek New Voyages, which introduced the first LGBT characters in Star Trek, and to a huge amount of controversy, 10 years ago. And JT was a part of that. His character was one of them. And there was...
I was the first.
Yes.
I was the first.
Excuse me, I think Adam was the first too.
Oh no!
No?
He came after.
He came after?
He came after. Adam,
Wow, I got my timeline down.
He puts the better into better half.
There. Yes, he does. He totally
But
does.
I'm sorry.
But the answer to your question is that, since that time, a lot of things have changed, and they've changed for the better. I mean, that was back when, when states right and left were passing anti-marriage constitutional amendments, and the Republicans were using homophobia as a way to drive voters who were also homophobic to the polls, and now we're living in a time where marriage equality thankfully is spreading and being recognized constitutionally by the courts, and all of that is fantastic. But at the same time, that progress isn't happening at an equal pace in every ways, in every way. And one of the messages of this movie, and one of the messages that we're trying to spread, that the movie will help us, is the fact that for young people, coming out, being gay in a lot of the United States and a lot of the world is still a very dangerous thing to be. 40% of the homeless youth population in the United States is LGBT people, and when you consider that they make up between 2 and 10% of the population, that is huge. It's families who are throwing out their sons and daughters when they come out, and paradoxically they're coming out earlier and earlier, emboldened in many ways by the progress that adults have made in LGBT rights. And so we feel like it's our obligation as adults who are, able to marry now, and able to, in many more municipalities and states and countries, claim rights that straight people have always had, that we have to make sure that young people who are in some ways are being inspired by that aren't getting literally left out in the cold. And so we're really trying to draw attention through this movie to the reality that for young people, it is still very dangerous to come out.
No, you're exactly right, and that's one of the great things about this particular movie. Something like Summer, I'm talking with JT Tepnapa, and every time I say your name, JT, I feel like I'm going to screw it up. So
you get it right every time.
And
we
it's
really do. And we like to screw it up on purpose, just because there's so many different ways you can.
Yeah.
Well, it's like trying to say Cenk Uygur from the Young Turks. It's like the first major interview I ever had back in Vegas, I interviewed Cenk, and I kept screwing up his name during the interview, and I kept apologizing for it, and it's like I feel like I'm doing that all over again, but I'm getting it right, so that's good.
No, it's all flowing trippingly off your tongue. So
and then I will screw it
yourself
up
on the back.
There we go. No, not until it's done. Because if I do it too early, bad things happen. But thank you, Carlos. Now, you guys have won some awards with your other movies. Why don't you tell the audience about that, and how it affects you guys when people recognize your work, instead of, I know sometimes they do the speeches and everything, but a lot of people might not realize how much, some people maybe seeing like the Emmys or something might think that it doesn't mean anything. Could you tell us what getting an award from your peers does mean and what doors it opens for you guys and in future projects like this one that you're trying to do?
Well, I'll start off this way by saying that when I did my short films, I had one, which you can catch on YouTube, called Masturbation, Putting the Fun into Self-Loving. And that was my first really successful short that went on to win lots of awards. And I have to say, it feels good to be validated. I know I should have validation inside about my work, but it feels good that there are peers that recognizes your work as something good, and it inspires me to think that I am doing something right and that I can continue doing it, and I've continued to win awards at film festivals. But it's because of my body of work of short films that really brought Carlos on board.
That's right. I wouldn't have worked with him otherwise.
Well, yeah, I could see that. I mean,
you saw these short.
No, I was like, he's. In fact, I remember the day we sat down and I said to him, "I will work with you on one condition." And he's like, "What?" I said, "You will never make another short film again, because it's time for you to graduate to features." A lot of filmmakers get stuck doing shorts for a long time because they do win awards and the shorts are great, but you have to do more. You can't just get stuck in that place that feels good but isn't really a career. And I was like, if we're going to make a go of this as a career, that means we need to say the short film part of our life is over. Now is the time for us to focus on features.
So what you're saying is you pushed him,
Pretty much.
and that's good, because I loved all your short films, and I'm not just saying that because I'm a fanboy. I swear. But I really did. They're really well thought out. They really make you think. They're really funny, and they're worthwhile. But it's just like when you did Judas Kiss, you had to graduate, as Carlos said, and I think you've done better for it. I mean, I don't think you would have gotten to this point had you not, and I'm really glad you did.
Because of Judas Kiss, Tom Lee from Jade Knight Productions came to me and asked me to work on something like Summer.
Well, and frankly, because of Judas Kiss, the author of the novel, Jay Bell, who lives in Germany, happened to have seen Judas Kiss at a German film festival right before Tom came to him and said, "These are the people I'm thinking of, that I'm going to be talking to." And and Jay had just seen Judas Kiss and said, "I really love this film. I would love it if these people turned my novel into a movie." And so,
isn't that funny how that works, though? I'm sorry to cut you off, Carlos, but isn't that funny how that works, though? I mean, you pushed him, you did the movie, and then he happened to see it. Those little moments in life are just so
magical. I
mean, there's been a lot of magic for so many of our projects. I mean, how we found our actors, how we found. I mean. We had lunch yesterday with Julia Morizawa, who played Abby in Judas Kiss. She turns out, completely by coincidence, to have done high school theater in this small town in Oregon with Ben Bauer, who's playing Jace in Something Like Summer, and we didn't even know that. Like, I'm going to give Julia credit for helping us sign Ben, because it helped him see, oh yeah, these are guys who might be worth working with because someone I know has worked with them, and so that's how we got how we got on Ben Bauer's radar, and so we've just literally we've gotten calls out of the blue with Judas Kiss, with The Dark Place, now with Something Like Summer, from people who are like, I've heard about your project and I'm interested in supporting it, some through investment, some through other means, and you can't count on that happening, but we've always felt like if you just, sometimes the work that you do to promote a film, especially while it's still in development, like this one has been since 2011, it ends up paying off, even though it doesn't feel like it at the time. And you just have to do the work. You have to do that work day in and day out, talking about it, making it better, finding the right actors, following up on contacts with people, networking, all of those things that sometimes can feel like just tedious work that really does pay off for, and it has.
Not for nothing, JT. Since all this magic is happening, and they don't get Riker to do Star Trek 3, there's the rumor throwing about that they need a director.
Oh, well. I got a movie going on right now. So.
Yeah, that's too bad. So
so like I said earlier, I have to be passionate about the project.
Fair enough.
I do love Star Trek. So.
Yeah, we do. I think if we got that call, it would be a very difficult decision.
Okay,
what to do, but we're pretty sure we're not going to get that.
Well, hey, like I said, crazier things have happened. But a little magic. So maybe somebody somewhere heard. No, I'm kidding. But
it's funny. I think it's. And I'm spiritual, so I think if you do work and you do a good job and you put it out there in the universe, what you want, it happens. It may not happen. It definitely doesn't happen the way you think it's going to happen,
or right away.
But it does.
Yeah, no, and for those who are just tuning in, and this isn't our typical political show. I'm speaking with JT Tepnapa and with Carlos Pedraza about their movie. This is a rescheduled interview that we didn't get quite right because I don't know how to inform people about time zones. And that was my fault, my bad. So I apologize for that. And we're talking about Something Like Summer and the great work you guys have done with the other movies. And I'm kind of glad to find out that I didn't miss out on this newest one. When you guys do your shorts for like Indiegogo, you guys really seem to have lots of fun. It doesn't seem like work to you. Is it actually work, or are you having that much fun?
Both.
It's both.
It is a lot of work. I mean, we have to shoot it several times because, it takes about 7 takes. And then I take all of that. I do that part of the work. I take it, put it onto my computer, and I'm editing. It takes me about 4 or 5 hours to edit each video, and it's a lot of work. But it's also fun.
Yeah, it's fun. We have a studio erected in JT's living room.
Thanks to our cinematographer, Dave Barry.
Yes,
awesome.
Who's, Dave. We've worked with Dave on all of our feature films, and started working with him on Hidden Frontier. He started out doing some CGI work and backgrounds for the
There's that
screens.
magic again, by the way.
Yes. So and then he followed me to Star Trek New Voyages and became a cinematographer there for a couple of their more award-winning episodes. And so of course we wanted to keep working with him. He did the cinematography for Judas Kiss, and then again for The Dark Place, and now for Something Like Summer. So he's just gotten better and better. He just turned 30, so it makes me feel really old because I've known him since he was in high school. So I feel like an old man.
Don't worry, Carlos. Usually I am the oldest one on the show. I'm 37.
Not today.
Woohoo! Yes, I cannot be called old man today.
You're the baby today.
I can't believe you just admitted to being older than Thomas.
After Judas Kiss, I'm like,
he used to lie about his age all the time.
Well, yeah, I feel like being the baby today. So awesome! I'm gonna wear that star.
Wear it, baby.
Now, when do you guys prefer going like to out of Hollywood to make a film, or do you like staying in Hollywood and California and LA? I know you could get more actors in LA because obviously that's where, or New York, but when you go out of town, is that more fun for you, or is it harder, or how which do you prefer?
You're going to get two different answers.
You're going to get two different answers. So here's mine first. And
that would be the wrong one.
No, actually, it's the right one.
Okay.
And yours is the right one.
Oh, here goes the burrito.
Right. See, burritos for everybody.
Okay. The thing is you have to be in Los Angeles if you want to make connections. To make connections, to meet with people, to find like wonderful cast and crew. You should be based here in Los Angeles. However, when it comes to making the movie, when it comes to writing the movie, you can be anywhere in the world.
So for us, and I grew up in Southern California and the Bay Area, so it's not that I dislike California, except that I dislike California for making movies, and not because of anything inherent about it, other than the fact that there's so many movies made here, so many TV shows made here, so many independent films made here, that there's the same kind of light, the same kind of looks, the same palm trees, the same everything. And, we made an aesthetic choice with our films that we want them to look different, that we want a different texture to the images, a different quality from the light. And we get that in different places. We shot our first film in Seattle. We shot our second film in just outside Portland. We're shooting this third film in Portland, Oregon. And, we were just up there a couple weeks ago doing some technical location scouting, and Portland's now, it's a very hot film production place, and the State Film Commission there offers a really great set of incentives for filmmakers from the Northwest, which I am, and that makes it a much more financially feasible place to produce a lower budget film like ours. So, we feel like it literally adds production value to what you see on screen to shoot somewhere that is different from where people typically see a lot of independent projects of the same scale as ours made, which is down here in Los Angeles.
So, okay, and that... I think that's really cool because it to me, when a film is done outside of the box, it adds a lot more character to it. For instance, movie Fargo, one of my all-time favorite movies. I just love the authenticity of that movie from start to finish. And stuff like your movies, and I'm a little bit more darker in the mind side, kind of like you, Carlos, in your writing. So I'm cool with that. And for those just tuning in, some say with Tom and Nickie, I'm Tom Reynolds. I'm talking to Carlos Pedraza and JT Tepnapa. See, Carlos, I went first with you this time.
Oh, well, that's okay.
I'm sharing.
You're number one.
I'm sharing a burrito.
Yeah, burritos for everyone.
And if I'm making you hungry because we keep talking about burritos, you'll have to go back to either the YouTube archive to figure out why, or if you haven't been listening live the whole time.
Actually, I just wanted to do a little thing about our Indiegogo campaign.
Sure.
Not burritos, but there is one of the perks at $50 where you get fortune cookies. And if you haven't read the novel, then I'm not going to spoil it for you, but you can certainly...
Oh, it's not a spoiler to say that.
All right.
One of the characters is obsessed with fortune cookies, so...
That's okay. I was going to ask that, but I didn't want to feel like a complete dork because I noticed you guys doing one of your Indiegogo... See, I do pay attention. I noticed you guys doing one of the things with the fortune cookies, and I couldn't figure out why.
The character of Jace, who's played by Ben Bauer, just loves fortune cookies, and actually he loves fortunes more than the cookies, but so that was his thing. And so when we were doing a photo shoot last week with Ben Bauer and with Austin McKenzie, who plays Ben Bentley, we wanted to make sure each one had some kind of prop that sort of symbolizes the character, and so for Jay's, for Ben Bauer's role, that was fortune cookies. So we bought a huge box of fortune cookies at one of the Asian markets that JT knows here in Los Angeles, and just got creative. And so
it was a lot of fun, and it actually inspired us to do an Indiegogo perk where there'll be specialized fortunes inside.
Yeah, there's there's a scene in the book where Ben gives Jace this present that is colored fortune cookies, and you can actually order those. So we're ordering a bunch of like rainbow colored fortune cookies in bulk, and we're going to put them in paper bags, have them autographed by Ben Bauer, by Jace, and bundling that with a number of our other perks, and that's our $50 Find Your Fortune perk.
The others, and because I like to talk about perks, the other special.
Actually, that leads me to my next question, JD. I apologize to cut you off. Tell us about your perks, and how do you come up with these for individual movies? Are they based on something like with the story, like this particular one, or what? When you come up with your perks, because like with my campaign for the Some Say show, that's one of my hardest things, right? Is to come up with the individual perks. And when you do it, how creative do you get? What do you give? And what seems to be the best that you when you give them away? And is there a method to your madness?
Well, first I'll start off by saying, since we gave a shout out to Jace, the character in the movie, we're going to give a shout out to Tim Wyman. There's a perk at 175 where you get an 8x10 glisse print, and there's only 20 of them, and they are signed and numbered, and that is a specialty perk that we've thought about, and we take time to think about some of these more unique perks.
We try to walk through the story and look for things that we know people are interested in. Like if you love the character of Jace, then the fortune cookie is something that's going to be of interest for you. If you love Tim, the fact that he's an artist is of interest to you. So since we know his art is going to show up in the film, then doing the limited edition prints of one of the pieces of art and making those available at a fairly affordable price for people as a perk, was a natural for us. So, we did literally months of brainstorming on the perks.
The other part is that we've done these campaigns before. And a lot of people have done campaigns before, so we
won't lie, we steal other people's ideas.
Okay, fair enough. Hey, apparently some people like the Rand Paul things, but that the little political inside joke, if you listen to Some Say. But no, and that's cool because, like I said, with my campaign, I know it's hard to come up with stuff. Like I will, if you donate to my campaign, for instance, I do satire ads, and one of our donors asked me to combine aliens and religion. So I did an app for storable food, where you could order your storable food. So if the rapture happens, or if
I have mine in my car ready to go.
So if the rapture happens, or if the aliens land, you have food in case of.
Aren't they the same thing?
Well, you could argue that, but don't want to offend anybody here. But we're liberal after all. I'll leave that to conservatives. So that's one. I'm always curious with the background stuff of it. How do you guys network? Like with me, you guys are my now third interview that I've done, or fourth interview actually that I've done. You would have been my third had I not scheduled it badly. How do you guys network? Because this is important for any type of promotional campaign or show or anything. What's the most important thing when you do that, and how do you keep those keep them interested in the long run?
Well, there's different. One of the things that they tell you as a writer, and I think is true for filmmaking as well, is know your audience. And so, and one of the things they tell you in public relations is you have multiple audiences. So we think a lot about, who are those different audiences and what are the best way to talk to them. So, we have an audience of peers, other independent filmmakers making films, like ours, of the same scope as ours, etc. And we talk to them a lot. We go to them for advice. I've had several of them give me notes on the script for this project. We go to their films. We try to support their projects when they do crowdfunding campaigns. We meet at film festivals and share ideas, share experiences. It's something that I think...
It's really a small world.
Yeah.
And on that level.
Yeah.
And that's how, and that, a lot of it's magic, a lot of it's coincidence. I mean, because of, like you said, go back to your earlier story about one of your actors knowing another actor, and that helped him sign on for this picture. I love being able to say that. I feel so fancy. No, you guys...
I know, somehow saying picture...
Yes!
Just that motion picture.
It's the only part of drawing up contracts, frankly, that I like. Everything else is a pain in the butt. But the fact that you can call it the picture, and that's like, the way you refer to it in the rest of the contract, it's always the picture, and it's like with a capital P, and I feel so like 1940s Hollywood.
Well, that's it. That's one of the. I mean, this show is purely political. I mean, I yell at the news, but this is like a real treat.
So does JT.
I do.
But I
do.
But
I go to HuffPo, Politico, anything with an O.
I occasionally go to Glenn Beck and my audience revolt.
You know what? I do occasionally go to Rush Limbaugh's because I just want to see what the enemy is thinking.
See, same wavelength. I say that to my audience and they revolt. But we got a little bit of time left. I want to give you guys a chance to plug everything and let us, my audience and your audience, know where to go, and the YouTube audience, when I put this up after the show, where to go, and to be able to support your film and to support Judas Kiss. And I'm blanking on the other movie. I apologize.
It's a dark place. Okay.
Thank you, Carlos.
So first of all, I wanted to talk a little bit about the networking part and finish it off because on our level, I think everybody can join our family, and that's what Indiegogo is about. It's about joining a family. So even if you give it $5 or $5,000, it doesn't matter. To us, is you're part of a movie, and you're part of building, a great movie. So it's go to somethinglikeSummer.com. And you can be a part of our family.
Yeah, I think one of the things for us is that we use the phrase "join us" when we do this, and for us that's like an earnest plea. We want people to become a part of the project, to feel ownership in it, because they're the ones who have to watch it and enjoy it and share it and buy it, and. So for us, having those folks on board early before it's even made is important, because it keeps us honest about how we approach the actual production of it. There are people whose stories of young romance going into adulthood who really helped me get through some of the difficult parts of writing the adaptation of the script. So it is important to us, and the best place to start is to visit our website, somethinglikeSummer.com, for the next several days. That will take you to our Indiegogo page, but from there you can also link back to the inside pages of our campaign. But check out the updates that we've got at Indiegogo. We post about one a day that just sort of brings you up to speed with where we're at. New videos that we've made. There's videos in the gallery there. There's a gallery tab on at the top of the Indiegogo page that you can see all the videos we've done up to date and some photographs.
I've got a cute one coming up for you, Thomas.
Oh, good. See,
That's
don't do
right.
that to me, JT. That's not nice.
There's one just for you.
Oh,
Just so you
see,
know.
come on. Now you're gonna make me sound like the fanboy.
And the story that's on the Indiegogo page tells you why this film is important to us, why we think it's going to be important to a lot of people, especially young people who've been very inspired by some of the courage that that these characters exhibit, and frankly, some of the flaws and mistakes they make as well. And we did this this video contest last week called Inspire You, and we got some about over a dozen submissions of people just talking about how the novel Something Like Summer literally, for some of them, changed their lives, saved their lives, helped them get through the loss of family and partners. It's very inspiring, and
yeah, you should check it out. Mel Cruz is our winner of that campaign, but you can go to one of our links and see all of the people that submitted. And I want to say a thanks to Mitch Sanford, because he was the friend that came up with it.
I do have one. I did see one or two ask some say we know how you guys are doing, and you're making a picture. You're doing great. Come on. But we do have another question for ask somebody. Some say the rainbow colored fortune cookies. Any of the extra perk if a little bit more money donated? Can you paint them? Maybe.
Oh, well, there are.
Oh, they're going to have customized fortunes.
Oh, cool! Cool.
Them. So, so they'll be rainbow colored and custom fortunes.
And of course, you can always, if you contributed once, you can always recontribute. Just shout me an email, and we'll work out on how to upgrade your perks. Basically, it's easy. You just hit contribute now, and you contribute the additional funds to the next perk level that you want.
No, and for those who are slightly broke like me, I'm glad I could help with this, because I felt bad that I couldn't help with Judas Kiss, except when it came out, I got to buy it, which was awesome.
Yeah, that helps a lot too.
So when it does come out, because I know it will come out, because your campaign ends on the eve of my daughter's birthday, so I just more magic. When something like summer.com does come out, I will be getting it, and
well, in the meantime, Tom, you can do what we do. We share,
and that's where I was alluding to. So either share the links for this video when I have it up a little later tonight, or maybe tomorrow, but either way, and I can't. It's been great. We haven't talked in forever, and I'm really glad we got to reschedule this. And
I'm glad we got a chance to catch up. We know that this is a challenging time of year to do a campaign like this, because people are spending money on Christmas presents for friends and family, but we really tried to create a wide selection of perks that would be suitable as gifts, or to be requested as gifts from people, so that you can kind of get the twofer. You can still contribute to the cause and give or get or ask for presents from or to someone else that is in the spirit of the season.
Yeah, and that's the awesome thing about it with your perks. They're really good perks for the campaign. They always have been, and that picture you're doing for me, hey. But no, I get to sound all fanboy and blush a little bit. And JT, I always tell you this every time I talk to you. You say hello to Adam for me, because
I will.
Because you and Adam are the couple that I would love to be in, like have for me.
Wait, what do you mean by that?
Okay, I'm not talking second wife here.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God, inappropriate.
I'm talking. You guys are always my ideal couple. I'm sure you guys fight, the burrito and all.
Actually,
but
we fight very little, and that's good. All my fights I save for Carlos.
It's true. I get all of it.
But just so you mentioned Adam and True Love, because again, I like to plug. There is a special perk in Indiegogo that called You and Your True Love, and at $100 you can have your photo in the end credits, and your love can be a boyfriend or your pet, or someone's going to do a copy of Something Like Summer, the book, because he loves the book. So of course, as long as it's work safe, picture will be fine.
There you go. And guys, again, I appreciate you coming on. I wish we had a little bit more Ask Some Say questions, but I think that was my fault. I didn't plug it enough. But when you've met this goal and you're not too terribly busy, I hope you come back to tell us progress. Give us a progress report.
I'd love to.
Awesome. Thank you again, guys.
Thank you.
All right,
Thanks,
thank
Thomas.
you.
Awesome.
Thanks, everyone. for
Bye-bye.
listening.